Okay, what we're going to do today, we're going to look at the production of a face shield. So in this diagram here you can see I've got an exploded view of the actual headband, the front and rear part of the shield. I'll just show you that, rotate that round. You've got the visor at the front, and the visor is split into three elements. You've got the face shield, you've got the cover, and then you've got the digital heads-up display. So that's the one that's going to connect to possibility of a Wi-Fi display or unit in the hospital. Okay, so if we go back to the start of the development tree, which is here, the first thing you have to do is look at the sketch. I'm going to click on Edit Sketch just quickly. I'm not going to change the sketch, but if you look at it, you can see that it's 250 millimeters long. It's an ellipse. Okay, so I've created an ellipse from this drop-down menu, and the ellipse is 125, or you could say 250 by 100 or 200. So you can see the dimensions there. And what I did, I got the measurements of the 60th percentile and put that in. Now we can make that, enlarge that in reality, and what you do, you just make a strap on the back of the shield that can be adjusted. So I've gone for the 60th for now, which should be good. Anyway, once that's done, you extrude it. Now again with the extrusion, I'll show you here, the extrusion element. Now I know that the measurement from your forehead to the top of your head is approximately 130. So we extrude that 130. So you've got the dome shape here. Once you've done that, the next stage then is to shell the inside. Now the way in which we shell an item, edit feature, if you look here, I put a radius on that top corner of 90 mil, right? And that will just follow the profile of the helmet. At the moment that looks like a mountain bike helmet, yeah. But if I change that to 100, I'll show you now, look what happens. It won't let me do it. So 90 is the limit. And when you look at the design, when you look at the 90, it's right because the computer's worked out all the diameters and all the information from the original sketch, and I said that 90 millimeters is your limit. Anyway, that's done. Okay, so the next stage is to look at the shell feature. So if I go to Edit Shell, what you've got here, you'd be asked to, you'd select the face, and then the thickness, the wall thickness of the helmet would actually be about 5 millimeter. And the one that we had in school, the one that we analysed in the classroom, was about 4 millimeters. So I've gone for 5, and you just shell the inside of the item, and it looked something like that. Okay, so once you've got the shell done, you then go to the next stage. Now here, if I go to Edit Sketch, you can see I've created a rectangular shape. I've got a center line next to it. I mirror about that center line. Okay. You'll see on the next sketch here. Edit Sketch. By mirroring about a center line, it then means that I don't have to worry about the other side being, an odd measurement. Now that it's been taken from the center, well, everything will be mirrored about that point. Okay. Just a good feature in any kind of design. If you use the CAD collectively and just use reference lines, X, Y, and Z coordinates, you'll get a nice reflection on that. Okay, so once you've done that, you would then move on to just finish the sketch because I've edited it, so I finished the sketch. I move on to the next part, which would then be a really good function where you split that body into components. So what we do here, we select the body to split. Now with the splitting tool, you have to select the lines that you're going to split. That's going to cut it through at 90 degrees. So over here on the left hand side window, you've got sketches. Now just be aware, sometimes when you go into this function, the sketches automatically turn off. So make sure you switch them on like I'm doing now. Like I'll turn that sketch off just to show you what I mean. Now you watch that, it'll disappear. Okay? Good. Right. When you've done that, you click OK, and that would then split that into another body, so that you could then move that out. Okay. Do the same to the other side, repeat the same process. Now once that's done, you can then, what I tend to do then is convert all of the bodies into components. I wouldn't do that at the beginning, but now you're getting to a point where you're able to do that. And if you just look at this, if I select that body and then just change it to a new component, it then means that later on I'll be able to move that item. Okay, so then they become separate components, and you would label it. In my case, I've labelled one front and one rear. Okay, so we just go to the next bit here. Okay, so then once you've got that part completed, you then want to remove some of the material, so you could extrude that. That's not an issue. Now here you can see how I've built the face shield. If I go into edit feature, what I've done there, just grabbed the inside surface of that shield, just here, look, and I've just extruded that to a distance of, I think it was 175. Okay, and I've called that a new body, so I'm quite happy with that. You click OK. You then move on to the next bit, radius the edges. And the radius I used, edit feature, I've set those to 100 millimeters. So then you get a nice blend across the side of the face shield. Well, that's up to you. And I'll try 50. You can see what 50 looks like. Yeah, that looks a bit boring. Actually, doesn't look aesthetically pleasing. So if you go for the 100, you get a nice flow. There you go. Perfect. Anyway, that's something you can change yourselves. Next phase, we're 7 minutes in, so we're getting there. I did another sketch, and on this sketch, I've sketched the window. So I used a center rectangle, and I took a measurement from the top of the forehead down to the center of the eye level. Then I brought that out to a distance of about I think it was 150. Okay, so with that, you've got a window, you've got the width, you've got a good viewing gallery, and that's going to be your interactive screen. Okay, good. We move on again. That's, if you look at this one, I've deleted part of the screen to make the window. As we move on, now this is the interesting part. When I edit feature here, let me just show you in this view. Now this rectangle is going to come out as a solid block. Okay. Now that's going to be the case for now. We can trim that off later. Alright. So if you look on the next window here, I've then created a window inside that. So you can see I've gone in approximately about 10 millimeters. So I've got an edge on there, and I'm going to cut that out. I'm going to delete all the way through. So with the delete function on the next part of the window, you can see here that I've deleted edit feature. I've gone symmetrical through the component. Okay. Now, because I'm going from the outside edge, I could go one side. I've gone symmetrical, and I'm using the cut function, and that pink sort of colouring just shows you visually which part is being removed. Okay. So I'd click OK with that, and now you can see it's cut a hole through the centre. Now you know as well as I do, I need to get rid of that shape, so I delete that. So on the next slide, or the next part of my window, you can see what I've done here. I've created a shape, and I've cut these little corners off here. Let me show you in more detail. So if I was to, there's this bit here that's going to be removed. So it's going to cut away that corner bit there, that corner piece there that we don't need anymore. Right? And it would then look like this. I would then put put a radius on the corner, on the edges here, just to round that off. And you can see now that this is sort of started to develop quite nicely. And the really good part about the next piece is quite clever. If you zoom in on this area here, I can actually select that edge and create a shield. So I don't have to worry about manufacturing it. I just use that element there, extrude, and then turn it into a new component. And I'll just show you what it looks like on here. Okay, so on this section, I would have extruded it, and there is the window. So if I turn all the sketches off, what you can see now is a representation of that. So I've ended up with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 components from one drawing. Okay, but as you know, I got all the data, all the ergonomic data from the research section. Okay, section A. So I got all the correct dimensions. I've used my research and I've put it into the drawing. Now, if you don't do your research correctly, you're not going to be able to do this. So just ensure that, you know, and the examiner will be able to see it. I'll be able to see it. But if you're going to get confused and oh, what do I do now? Because you've used the right research, it's very straightforward. And it all started off with a measurement of body sizes, ergonomic data of a head. So you had all the correct data in front of you. And then it's a case of extruding and then chopping bits away. I couldn't explain it any easier. Right, so that's just a start of how to produce a face shield. Now the design of it is something else. That's when you start manipulating component parts and changing that and then modelling that component. But you could leave the headband will be very much the same as the face visor, that might be the same, but the moving parts and the design of the actual helmet you would change yourself. Okay, right, that's me done for now. I'll move on to the next video very soon. Okay, thank you very much. I hope that's useful for you Year 13s. Okay, thank you.